Bonjour, brought to you by Safaricom, a proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.
So hello and welcome to another edition of Bonjour. As we mentioned in the previous episode, of course the conditions have become quite interesting here in Paris. You can see there we just flustered. Elias almost feels like a broken record because of how we've been just trying to adjust to the hot conditions here in Paris.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting hotter by the day, and there's been an advisory, you need to hydrate very well, stay in the shade. It's getting hot, and I can only imagine, the athletes out there performing under such sweltering conditions.
Indeed, very sweltering conditions. Of course, the temperatures have been soaring each and every day as these Olympics continue. But of course, now the focus will be on athletics. Well, Team Kenya, the first batch of the athletes are in town. Who is in town for now?
Yeah, I mean, the multiple world record holder, the Olympic champion, Faith Kipyegon, going for a third Olympic title. And Paris seems to be favoring her. Remember just a few weeks ago, she broke her own 1500 meters world record, down the road here in Paris. And last year, around the same time, she broke the 5000 meters world record at the same stadium for the Diamond League. So it's like Paris is warming up to another big performance, a third Olympic gold medal, and you never know, it could be in world record time.
We enjoyed tumefika Paris na tulisema ini race tunakuja tungangane as team Kenya, na training Kenya ilikuwa poa, tulitrain vizuri and I hope tuko ready kufanya vizuri huko Paris.
Indeed, hopefully that will be just a sign of things to come in terms of what she was able to perform in the previous months when she competed here in Paris. But also aside from Faith Kipyegon, there is also Mary Moraa who is in town as well, the 800-meter star.
Yeah, Mary Moraa, also the 1500 meters team is here. Samuel Gadimba came a little bit earlier because his event is actually on Thursday morning at about 8 o'clock Kenyan time. That's the 20-kilometer walk. He's a serial campaigner in international competitions, has finished in the top eight in the Commonwealth Games, so he has the experience. But this heat is really going to be a big factor. I just hope that he's been training in similar conditions, because it will definitely have a role to play in the final rankings.
Na natarajia kufanya vizuri, manake bio yangu ndio inafungua kiwanja tarehe 1. Na hizi mzuri sana, na hizi niko na hiyo hamu sana ya kuongoza Kenya vizuri na kuwafungulia hiyo siku na ikuwe na medali.
He'll be beginning Kenya's medal hunt in the athletics per se, in the 20 kilometers race walk. And actually the heat did to some extent affect his preparations, because I understand he was supposed to be training in the morning on Tuesday, but he had to alter his training schedule because it was too hot. You can just clearly see where the kind of environment that we're in. So it definitely did affect him, and I agree with you, he definitely needs to plan ahead. Otherwise it would be a very punishing walk. And one thing that is fascinating about Gadimba, he's very passionate. I think this is making his second appearance at the Olympics, competing in the race walk. He's somebody who is really looking forward to and yearning to perform at his optimum in Paris. It's fascinating how his attitude is something else, because for him, yes, it's a competition that we don't dominate as much, but we need to remember that he's an African champion. He's won an All-African Games gold medal. So hopefully he's able to translate the same level of performance at the highest level in terms of global sport. Yeah,
because he's been there and thereabouts in international competition. He was knocking on the door of a medal. I think he finished 8th in the Worlds last year in Budapest. And again, there's been a challenge because Kenya qualified pretty late. World Athletics really left it late before confirming Kenya. They went to Dublin for a qualification tournament a few weeks ago, but they were only given the position for Gadimba just a few days back. So it could have affected the training, but I think this is probably, definitely his last Olympic Games, given his age.
He's 36 years old, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see him going all the way to LA. So this is his final moment to shine.
Wakati niko hapa, naona mabingwa wanapita tu hivi, Lazima ukue kama binadamu. Kuna changamoto kidogo, lakini kila mtu hapa ajui itakuwa namna gani. Kila mtu hapa ametrain, kila mtu hapa ako na nguvu. Ile yote ulikuwa unafanya sasa uilete hapa, uicombine yote. Ile ulikuwa unafanyia huko, mwingine alikuwa anajificha huko, hapa hakuna kujificha. Na kila mtu hapa ni bigwa, na kila mtu anataka namba moja. So hapa Ni kitu gani itafanya mtu akuwe number 1 ama number 2 ama number 3? Ni calculations. Calculations zangu zikiingia vile nimepanga, yeye itakuwa direct kwa podium.
Now back to the track. We spoke about Faith Kipyegon. We touched briefly on Mary Moraa, but there's a race that's happening this weekend. Kenya will still also continue its medal hunt with the 10,000 meters. The 10,000 meters athletes for the men's are in town. Kwemoi, Bernard Kibet.
Yeah, I mean it's a very difficult. It's bizarre. It's unbelievable that the only gold medal we won in the 10,000 meters was way back in 1968 in Mexico. You know, through Naftali Temu, we've never won an Olympic 10,000 meters gold. That's a statistic that really baffles me, but it's going to be very difficult. It's not easy at all. The trials were done in Eugene, and there was a lot of controversy while SMU was tripped, fell down, and he didn't make the team. He's now decided to go and run the Chicago Marathon, moving up to the marathon. So it will be interesting to see how Kenyans cope. But I mean, with people like Joshua Cheptegei, it will be very, very difficult.
For those who are into the final, like 10,000 meters, the main focus now is to deliver medals to the Kenya. So the preparation was very well. In terms of motivation, the athletes are highly motivated. The coaches as well are up to the task. So yes, we are here for the games. Let the game begins on Friday.
Well, as always, Elias, that means that the rivalry between Kenya and Uganda will be renewed once again in the 10,000 meters. Hopefully the Kenyan trio, will be able to push the Ugandans and the Ethiopians as well.
I mean, they ran very well during you know, the qualification at the Diamond League in Eugene, at the Prefontaine Classic. Of course, sadly, you know, Simiyu Ebenyo, who will have been a very good
strong favorite,
strong favorite, because he medaled in Budapest for the World Championships. He didn't make it to the team. Joshua Cheptegei, I'm still waiting to see the final start list, but definitely the Ugandan Joshua Cheptegei and the Ethiopians will be a big threat. It will be one very tight race, and considering the elements, it's very, very hot, and not too humid, but very hot, which could also be a factor.
Now let's shift gears and focus on the women's volleyball team. Remember, they were in action in their opening game against Brazil on Monday. It was a tough outing. Elias, it's even tougher. They're facing off against another top team.
Yeah, Poland is top ranked in the world. Brazil is second. So you can imagine, you know, after fighting so much against Brazil, you meet even a tougher opponent in the form of Poland. It will be very tight, but you know, looking back, a lot of lessons to learn. The Brazilians, I was speaking to one of the players, the Seta Caneiro, and she told me that they were in camp literally every day since May. I mean, so their training was tailor-made. They have the resources, but on the Kenyan side, you know, it's a struggle. None of the players is you know, 100% professional, if you like. So it was, the gulf will always be seen between the other teams in the group: Japan, Poland, Brazil, and against Kenya, which is really, you know, the odd one out.
Now maybe we can change that. Is that we need swift center players. They must move swiftly so that they can stop the center player of the opponent, so that we can use the wings to attack. So that was the challenge, because they were not moving very fast, and that's why the blocks. Also, we are aiming so much, many balls inside, and their blockers are very tall. So we are trained not to aim the ball out inside, to aim the ball outside, to get the touch out scoring.
Hopefully the Malkia strikers will be able to find their bounce against the Polish and pull off a surprise. You never know. This is the Olympics. Anything could happen. Now, last, another big championship specific. Because remember, the Olympics is usually like a mini World Cup of so many other sporting disciplines. So the triathlon was supposed to be happening on Tuesday, but it was postponed because remember the Sen had been given the thumbs up by everyone that it was fine to swim in, it was fine to use, it was not toxic. Of course, there were concerns in terms of the waste that was within the Seine, because that's one of the places that's going to be used for the triathlon. But the triathlon was postponed.
Yeah, you know, it's been a big issue, environmental issues, to make sure that River Seine is you know, fit for. Even, I mean, they almost went as far as drinking water to show the world that it's safe. But yeah, the meeting went late into the night, Monday night into Tuesday morning, 3:30 a.m. That's when they decided that they have to postpone the competition at least for a day to see how the river will be. Remember, on Friday night during the opening ceremony, it rained in torrents. There was a lot of rain, and they argue that some of the, you know, debris could have gotten into the river actually got into the river, polluting it sort of, and they have to make sure that it's clean again and ready for competition.
Yes, as you could see, there's been quite a lot of rain, including during the opening ceremony in the last couple of days. But we're monitoring very closely. The level of the Seine is going down rapidly. The weather forecast is, bright and shiny, especially for today. It's going to be hot. So we're confident that we will be able to hold, even though we canceled the familiarization this morning, the competition tomorrow and Wednesday. And we still have a contingency plan that is in place for Friday, just in case. But as far as we are concerned, we are still confident to be able to hold the competition tomorrow.
Well, obviously, we're privileged to be here in Paris following the games, and there have been a lot of Kenyans who've traveled here to just continue showing their support for the different sporting disciplines that are competing. We saw a lot of them during the Rugby Sevens Championship in the past week. They came there, droves. They were at the Stade de France just supporting the national Rugby Sevens team. We also saw a handful of fans in the women's volleyball matches, specifically the first match against Brazil, and hopefully we'll be able to see much more when they face off in the other championships. But Elias, it just tells you how Kenyans love their sport.
Kenyans love their sport. They travel a lot. People have traveled all the way from USA, from Canada, from UK, from neighboring Germany, from Nairobi. Despite the difficult economic conditions, they really sacrifice to follow Team Kenya and cheer the team all through. It's been amazing to see these people.
Indeed, and Safaricom has a very special a reward scheme that they've been able to unveil, and the fact that is that 4 Kenyans are very lucky, Elias, to join us here in Paris for the Olympic Games.
The more the merrier. We need this support, and it's very good to see Safaricom, coming on in a big way. It's a global brand, Safaricom. You've seen it in the World Rally Championship. Some of the drivers displaying the M-Pesa, logo on their WRC cars. I was actually checking.
Yeah, you're checking your balance and stuff.
Yeah, people thought they couldn't send me money from Nairobi, but through Safaricom you can. Yeah. And Mutume Akotoa Pia, because here, *334# for example, you can top up while roaming. So it's been very easy, operating with my Safaricom line. I didn't really need to get a local line from France. So it's really impressive to see how far Safaricom has gone to keep us connected.
It's very practical for myself. I've been, of course, paying for my amenities back home in Kenya because I had to keep tabs with what is going on back home in Kenya, at least with the app. I'm using the app, and the app has been very practical and functional. So that has helped me. But 4 Kenyans are coming to France for the Olympics. This is how.
With Team Kenya and with Visa, we partnered to say, how do we support our customers who have been using this to conduct their e-commerce, to pay for their global subscriptions. So today, or for the month of June and July, we're actually rewarding our customers. So when they transact with 1,500 shillings, they stand an entry into this draw. And this competition or this promotion allows you to win up to 4 tickets to Paris. It's an exciting thing. You'll be accompanied with your partner. You'll have full accommodation. You will have entry to all the different events at the Olympics, and you'll also be eligible to have some fantastic tours of Paris. Paris is one of those historical countries, and how beautiful would it be to go and see a historical site alongside Team Kenya and see how we have a winning spirit as Kenyans coming together to actually...
Received a call from Safaricom towards the end of June, and the lady on the line informed me that I've won a ticket to Paris for me and a companion. And my first reaction was that it was a con, obviously. So actually I was telling the lady, just hold on, I need to check to confirm this line is actually, the number is actually a Safaricom number, the official line. So, but after she mentioned the global Visa card, that's when now I realized this might be true because I normally use the card a lot. So that's when it sort of hit me that this thing is actually true and I might have won.
As usual, thank you so much for watching Bonjour. My name is Bernard Ndong. From myself and Elias Makori, au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bonjour, brought to you by Safaricom, a proud sponsor of Team Kenya at the Olympics.